Title of the first section is Order from least to greatest. Order from least to greatest. In other words, we're going to order from smallest to biggest. First problem, first sets of numbers, is 2, 6, 13, 5, and 4. We'll take these 5 numbers and order from least to greatest. The smallest of these numbers would be 2. The next smallest number would be 4. After 4, the next smallest number would be 5. Next smallest number after 5 would be 6. And the biggest number, or greatest number, would be 13. So ordering from least to greatest, we have 2, 4, 5, 6, and 13. Second question. Sets of numbers are 5, -5, 3, -2, and 0. Again, we'll order from least to greatest. This time we have negative numbers, -5 and -2. Negative numbers are always smaller than any other number. If we have -5 and -2, the smallest of those, which is farthest away from 0, would be -5. And the next smallest would be -2. 0 comes before any positive number. And last two numbers we have are 5 and 3. 3 would be smaller, and 5 would be our greatest number. So the order of the numbers, -5, -2, 0, 3, and 5. Next question and last question for this section. We have the absolute value of -3. Absolute value is 2 vertical lines around the number. Next number is absolute value of 2, 0, 1, and 4. To find the absolute value of a number, whatever the number is, you make that number positive. So absolute value of -3, change it to positive, and that would be +3. Absolute value of +2, if the number is already positive, it stays positive. Just take the absolute value signs off. And the other 3 numbers I'll rewrite 0, 1, and 4. And now we can order these numbers from least to greatest. Smallest number would be 0. And then 1. And then 2. And then 3. And the greatest number would be 4. So ordering from least to greatest would be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you wanted to, you could leave the absolute value signs on here, or you can take them off. Title of next section is Compare. Using greater than, less than, or equal. As part of the definitions for this section, greater than greater than symbol looks like this. And the second definition, less than. The less than inequality is the opposite and opens the opposite way. First problem for the section, we have 5 and positive 3. In between these two numbers, we want to either put greater than, less than, or equal to. Since we have 5 and then 3, 5 is bigger than 3, or also 5 is greater than 3. So the greater than symbol would be 5 is greater than 3. Second question, we'll have absolute value of negative 7. And on the right hand side, we'll have positive 7. And again, like before in the previous section, absolute value of a negative number, or negative 7, we can take off the absolute value signs and change it to a positive number. So we'll have positive 7 on the left-hand side, and the right-hand side would stay the same. So now we have 7 on one side, 7 on the other side. It's not greater than or less than. In this case, 7 is equal to 7. And last question for the section. We have negative 4 and negative 2. Negative 4 and negative 2, if you think of a number line, negative 4 is on the left-hand side of negative 2, which means negative 4 would be the smaller number, and negative 2 would be the bigger number. So in this case, negative 4 would be less than negative 2. If it helps, you can draw a number line, which goes negative 4, negative 3, negative 2. Negative 4 being on the left-hand side means that the negative 4 is smaller and negative 2 is bigger. So negative 4 would be less than negative 2. Looking at the graph, we'll answer the following question. How many hours of homework was assigned week 1? Looking at the graph on the vertical axis, also known as the y-axis, we have the hours 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And along the horizontal axis, which we call the x-axis, we have the weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If we want to look for the hours on week 1, we'll go to week 1 on the x-axis. We'll go up to the point for week 1 and see how many hours it's associated with, which should be 1 hour. So how many hours of homework was assigned during week 1? The answer would be 1 hour. Second question and last question for the section. What was the change of hours from week 1 to week 2? So the change is how much it changed from one week to the other week. So we have to look at week 1 and figure out how much it changed to week 2. Week 1, we already know, started at 1 hour. If we look at week 2, go up to the point, matches up with 3 hours. So we had 3 hours of homework in week 2, and the change will be the difference from going from 1 to 3. So the change was 2 hours, or an increase of 2 hours.